to this video that looks at how I did my cosmic owl painting. So without further ado, let's have a look at the materials and tools that I used to produce this painting. To start with, the paints I used were acrylic paints, but I went for very bright, vibrant colours. In fact, some of them are iridescent, luminous colours, deliberately to give that extra pow to the colour. Next, I would obviously need to use tools to apply these, and we'll look at the next picture that shows the types of tools I used. So now we're looking at the brushes that I used. To varying degrees I used these brushes. The one at the top is called a flog, and I used that quite a bit. And the other brush that I used a lot were the fan brush. You'll see in the video coming up that I used these, and the half-inch flat brush at the bottom I used to paint in the owl later on. Other pieces of equipment that I used include various palette knives and obviously a pencil and a rubber, and you can also see there's some tissue paper and a small bowl for your water. Here you can see the paper that I used, 300 gram acrylic canvas paper made by Winsor & Newton. I also used a tear-off palette for the putting the paint down onto, a spray gun for wetting the paper, and to hold the paper down I used masking tape, as you can see from these pictures. The first task was to tape down the paper. Once that was done, I then went on to apply water with the spritzer, so in various different directions you could have bits of water at different types of levels. So now let's have a look at the techniques that I used to produce the splatting for the background. And I'm going to use a brush that's dry to dab bits of paint onto it, and then we can apply the paint to the canvas. So this is the flogging brush that has paint on it, and watch how I apply this paint to the canvas by tapping the brush. So now you see me using the water spray, the spritzer, to disperse the paint and give the paint a bit more interactivity. This is where the tissue paper comes in handy, because you can put a little bit too much water on and that can blot out some of the water. A good control system for that kind of painting. Now I've changed brushes, I'm using the fan brush, and this has a slightly different finish to it, so just have a look at how that changed and just experiment with different brushes. Again, using the fan brush, but with a lot of very heavy paint on it, with a big strong flick, you get some really strong splats. At this stage I clean my brush out and then use the clean without paint brush to splat water onto the paint again to loosen the paint up again. Then it's just a bit of cleaning up work with the paper towel to get rid of too much of the water, and you're basically done. So that's the splat process, and that's how I actually did the background. So let's move on from here now. So with the background done, what I did is I took a photograph, because I thought, you know, this could be an individual piece of artwork on its own. And later I did produce a digital version of this particular piece of artwork, but rendered differently. And you can do that if you take photos at stages. Right, it was time to concentrate on the owl, so I had to trace the owl that I'd already drawn onto the canvas. So that's what I did next, and that's the picture you're seeing now. Using this 1/2 inch brush, I put the background painting for the owl onto the canvas, as you can see from this image here. With the owl underpainting finished, I then masked the background off so that when I did any splatting on the owl, the background wouldn't be affected. I used old empty crisp packets for this. For the owl itself, I did a similar kind of technique to the video I've just shown you, but with light colours, the yellows, and for other parts darker blues to give a more 3D effect. But it's the same technique as the video. I used the flogging brush here to get some movement in parts of the owl. So by this time we're talking about detailed areas such as the eyes. I used a palette knife for that, and other parts of the face I used rubber sculpting tools to get those final little bits of detail into the face. And basically that is how I did my owl. So thank you for looking in, and if you like what you see, let me know. Tell me what you think about the video, and give me a thumbs up and a like if you want to do that, and subscribe if you want as well. Thank you, and we'll see you again later.